Okay, we're in section 6.2c now, and these problems are like 6.2b, except that they show you how to factor by trial and error. And trial and error can be kind of useful in that certain problems don't really, it would almost be overkill to do the other method that we did in 6.2b, because the combinations are so easy. In this particular problem, I don't think the combinations are that easy, but we can kind of follow their steps, and maybe you'll like this method better than what we were doing in 6.2b. You still have to look at the problem and say, is there anything common? Okay, and they give you a box for this in this example to say, oh, okay, greatest common factor between 15, 85, and 100. It looks like 5 is going to work there. But let's go into the tutor mode to really see it done out. They actually already do that for us, right? They identify the 5. They say, I pull out a 5, I'm going to have 3x squared minus 17x plus 20 left in the parentheses. Now, with the trial and error method, what they try to do is say, let's try to think of numbers that would multiply to give me the front number. So I'll say 1 and 3. That's it. Submit that. I have to look and determine with the last number. Let's see what they're asking here. Okay, so we're going to try to figure out multiplication combinations to get the last number, the 20. And they're saying before we do that, we should determine what the signs are going to be. Now, if it's a positive, the signs need to be the same. But since there's a negative middle term, the only way that could have happened is that it was a minus times a minus, which gave you the plus, but also would add up to the negative in the middle. So both signs are going to be negative. Okay, so there's different combinations that you want to look out for. But if the sign is a plus here, it was either plus plus or minus minus, and you've got to see which sign you have here to determine what that will be. If this is a minus sign, then there's just one positive, one negative. Okay. And then we're going to list some combinations to get 20. List all the negative factors that could give you 20, right? We said it would be double negatives. So minus 1, minus 20, minus 2, minus 10, and minus 4, minus 5. And then what they do is they just go and they list everything that's possible. Okay, so I'm going through this one for the first time here to see what they want me to do. Select the correct factorization by clicking on it, and then click Submit. So what they say is, based on the numbers we picked, these are all the possible combinations that we could have used to get the original. So which one of those really the question is, which one of these is going to give us the minus 17x when we do the outside-inside of the two binomials. So in other words, kind of looking down through, looking at all the combinations, I see this one, 3x times a minus 4 is a minus 12x, minus 5 times x is a minus 5x, minus 12x and minus 5x gives us a minus 17x. The rest of it you could FOIL out and check and make sure that it comes back to this, and even distributing the 5 and come back with this. But really the outside-inside is going to tell you from here which one of these 6 combinations are going to work, because everything else would match up. So we'll select this. An unexpected error has occurred, which is nice. But you get the idea. The solution should be this, based on the combinations. Okay, another combination. If anything similar happens to you in the tutor mode with an unexpected error, let me know. You shouldn't have to put up with that when you're trying to learn how to do this stuff. X squared minus 13x plus 40. We can probably do this one in our heads or talking through, because I see that there's a 1 that's common, and then looking at what's here, I'm trying to really just think about two numbers that multiply to give me 40. Okay, because think about this. If I have a 1 out front, really it's just x and x that could give me the front part. But the last part is really just the combination I need to think about. What are two numbers that multiply to give me 40 and add up to minus 13? So this is a little trick we can use if there's a 1 out front, and I would say it's got to be double negative, and what can we say? Not negative 1, negative 40, not negative 2, negative 20, not negative 4, negative 10, but negative 8, negative 5, that would add up to negative 13. So I can say minus 8, minus 5. But you could try all the combinations with outside, inside. You're going to get this combination eventually that should FOIL back and give you the original. Okay, kind of a big one with a lot of common factors, so we'll sort this out in the tutor mode. They want to know the greatest common factor. Well, I look at the smallest one usually from the numbers, and I say, does that divide in? Nope, it's not going to work for those. So smaller factors, how about 3? 3 is probably the biggest one that's going to work. So we'll say 3. What about x's? They all have at least one x in common. Y's, they all have at least one y in common. So we'll say 3xy for our greatest common factor. And then after that's factored out, this is what's left in the parentheses. So they start focusing on the inside of the parentheses and say, alright, let's get some combinations that multiply to give you 15 first. And so we can't do this quickly like the previous problem, where we just look at the last number and then try to add up to the middle number with the multiplication combinations, because there's something out front here, the 15, that's something other than 1. So we got to do the front number combinations. We've got to do also 3 and 5, as well as 1 and 15. We look at the negative 2, and because it's a negative, it's a no-brainer that one sign needs to be positive, one sign needs to be negative to multiply to get the negative 2. Okay, so the combinations to get that are either 1 and minus 2, or 2 and minus 1. Okay, those were our possibilities. So they list everything that's possible, and trial and error has its weaknesses in that I don't really want to have to write out all of this crap. So there's kind of a good way to organize it sometimes, where you just try to match up outside, inside. Based on the numbers you've got, can I get something that's going to give me the 7x? But kind of writing it out this way, I guess, you're eventually going to come to the idea that, like I see here, 5x and minus 2 is a minus 10x, 1 and 3x is a 3x. That would give me a minus 7x. So really I want to find something like this, but the signs are switched. So let's see, where's the 3x plus 2? Right there. And the 5x minus 1. That's going to be the one that's going to work. So I'm assuming this is going to crash on me again if I click on it. Probably. Nope. Excellent. Alright, so that is the correct answer to that problem.